Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to say about the mandibular nerve. So this mandibular nerve, it is one of the largest division of trigeminal nerve. That is the fifth cranial nerve. Here you can see the fifth cranial nerve and its ganglion, that is trigeminal ganglion, and there are three divisions coming from this. So one is the ophthalmic division, which enters the orbit through the superior orbital fissure. The other one is maxillary, which passes through foramen rotundum and enters the pterygopalatine fossa. The other one is mandibular nerve, which passes through the foramen ovale to reach the infratemporal fossa. So today we are going to see about the mandibular nerve. So this is the diagram showing the base of the brain. Here you have the brain stem and this is the pons. Pons means a bridge. So from that he can see the origin of trigeminal nerve and see the base of the skull. We are at the level of middle cranial fossa. In that you can see the trigeminal nerve with the three divisions. So the above one is ophthalmic, which is entering into the orbit through the superior orbital fissure. The middle one is the maxillary, which is entering into the pterygopalatine fossa. The other one is mandibular, which is entering into the infratemporal fossa. Now let us see the introduction to this nerve. So as I said before, it is the largest division of trigeminal nerve and it is a mixed nerve. So what is meant by mixed? It contains both sensory and motor, and it is the nerve of first pharyngeal arch. So whatever muscles are derived from this arch, those are supplied by the mandibular nerve. So what are the muscles derived from the first pharyngeal arch? Those are nothing but muscles of mastication. Now let us see the origin and course of this nerve. So it has got a large sensory root which is derived from the convex part of the trigeminal ganglion and a small motor root which is coming from the pons and lies deep to the sensory division. So these two nerve roots, they pass through the foramen ovale independently. In this diagram you can see, so the motor root is passing behind the sensory root and this is the foramen ovale. Both of them independently, they pass through the foramen ovale and reach the infratemporal fossa. So this nerve is very short. So immediately after the formation, that is by the union of motor and sensory root, it divides into anterior division and a posterior division. Now let us see the relations here. So this is the medial aspect, this will be the lateral aspect, this is posterior, this is in front. So here what are the structures it is related? The nerve trunk, it is related medially to the tensor veli palatine muscle. So here you can see the medial relation, that is tensor veli palatine and the otic ganglion. And if you see the lateral relation, it is related to upper head of the lateral pterygoid. Here will be the lateral pterygoid, which is not shown in this diagram. And behind, if you see, this is the middle meningeal artery, which is encircled by auriculotemporal nerve. And the anterior boundary is nothing but the posterior border of lateral pterygoid plate, which is not shown in the diagram. So what are the branches that are coming from the mandibular nerve? So there are branches which are coming from the main trunk. There are branches which are coming from the anterior division. There are branches which are coming from the posterior division. So what are the branches coming from the main trunk? So the first one is nervus spinosus, which is also called as meningeal branch. So this branch, it enters into the cranial cavity. That means it is having a recurrent course along with the middle meningeal artery. It enters into the cranial cavity through foramen spinosum, supplying the dura mater of the middle cranial fossa. So that means it is a sensory branch. Here you can see from the trunk, you can see the meningeal branch, which is also called as nervus spinosus, though it is present in the infratemporal fossa, but again it is going back to the cranial cavity and supplies the dura mater in the middle cranial fossa. So the other branch, narrow to medial pterygoid, so it is given off from the medial surface of the mandibular nerve trunk close to the otic ganglia. So this nerve, it crosses or it passes through the otic ganglia without any relay. It supplies the medial pterygoid muscle, and along with that it also supplies tensor tympani and tensor velae palatine. So remember, nerve to medial pterygoid, it passes through the otic ganglia. Not only it supplies the medial pterygoid, but also to the tensor tympani and tensor velae palatine. So those are the two branches which are coming from the main trunk. Now let us see the branches which are coming from the anterior division. So mainly there will be motor fibers and a small sensory branch will be there. So let us see one by one. The first one is mesenteric, followed by deep temporal nerves, which are two in number, anterior and posterior, followed by nerve to lateral pterygoid and buccal nerve. If we carefully observe these branches, all these branches are supplying the muscles of mastication. So which one is missing here? That is nerve to medial pterygoid. So nerve to medial pterygoid, it is coming from the main trunk. Now you can see this is the main trunk. From here you can see the anterior division and this is the posterior division. So what are the branches coming from the anterior division? First one is mesenteric nerve. So here you can see the mesenteric nerve. So this mesenteric nerve, it emerges at the upper border of the lateral pterygoid muscle. It passes laterally, crosses the mandibular notch along with the mesenteric artery, then it reaches the deep surface of the masseter. So it supplies not only the masseter but also to the temporomandibular joint. Deep temporal nerves. So I said you there are two deep temporal nerves, that is anterior and posterior. So these two nerves, they emerge at the upper border of the lateral pterygoid. So here you can see the upper head of the lateral pterygoid. From the upper border you can see two nerves which are ascending up to the temporal fossa, and they supply the temporalis muscle from the deeper aspect. The next one is nerve to lateral pterygoid. So you can see this is the nerve to lateral pterygoid, which runs along with the buccal nerve. It enters the deep surface of the lateral pterygoid muscle and supplies it. So the last one is the buccal nerve. So the buccal nerve, it is the sensory branch of the anterior division. So in this diagram, if you see here, it is running in between the two heads of the lateral pterygoid. This is the upper head and this is the lower head. So it passes in between them, running downwards and forwards. It lies underneath the anterior border of the masseter and reaches the buccinator. It pierces the buccinator muscle and supplies the area related to the buccinator. But remember, though it pierces the buccinator, but it doesn't supply it because it is a sensory branch. The buccal branch of the facial nerve, which is motor, it supplies the buccinator muscle. Remember, don't get confused. Buccal branch of the mandibular, it is sensory, whereas buccal branch of the facial, it is motor. As I said, so this buccal nerve, it supplies the skin and mucous membrane of the cheek related to the buccinator muscle, but not the buccinator. And if you carefully observe, all the branches which are derived from the anterior division are motor, except buccal nerve, which is a sensory branch. So that is about the anterior division. So here in this diagram, you can see this is the lateral pterygoid muscle. Then you can see the continuation. This is the buccal nerve. This is the posterior division. And this is the schematic diagram which is showing all the branches from the anterior division. Now let us see the branches which are coming from the posterior division. So only there are three branches which are coming from the posterior division. You can see this is the auriculotemporal nerve, this is the lingual nerve, and this is inferior alveolar nerve. Auriculotemporal, lingual, and inferior alveolar nerve. You can easily remember, you remember the word ALI, ali. So that is a mnemonic which stands for the branches from the posterior division of mandibular nerve. Now let us see one by one. Auriculotemporal nerve. So here if you see the auriculotemporal nerve, it is having a two roots. These two roots, they encircle the middle meningeal artery. In this diagram you can see this is the middle meningeal artery which is encircled by the two roots of the auriculotemporal nerve. Then it runs backwards in between the sphenomandibular ligament and the neck of the mandible. Then it winds around the neck. It ascends up, crosses the root of the zygoma to reach the temple. So that is the course of it. So now whatever I have said, whatever I have shown you in the diagram, I have just put it in words. So as I said, the two roots, they encircle the middle meningeal artery to form a single trunk. Then what happens? It runs backwards between the neck of the mandible and the sphenomandibular ligament. Then behind the neck, it ascends upwards, crosses the root of the zygoma to reach the temple, passing behind the superficial temporal vessels. The same thing in this diagram you can see here, these are the two roots. Then behind, it passes behind the neck of the mandible, it is crossing the root of the zygoma, then it is reaching the temple, dividing into terminal branches. The same diagram here you can see clearly the middle meningeal artery, this is the sphenomandibular ligament, this is the neck, and this is the nerve which is ascending up, this is the root of the zygoma, and it is reaching the temple. So what is the distribution of this auriculotemporal nerve? Auriculo and temporal, these are the branches which are given by this nerve. So let us see the auricular branch. As the word auricular supplies, it is related to the ear. So it supplies the skin of the tragus, upper part of the pinna of external acoustic meatus, and the cuticular layer of tympanic membrane. And the temporal branch, it supplies the skin of the temple, and it also gives an articular branch that supplies the TM joint. And this arculotemporal nerve, it also contains the fibers, that is secretomotor fibers going to the parotid gland. So this arculotemporal nerve, it is a sensory branch. Now let us see the another one, the lingual nerve. So this lingual nerve, it is the smaller terminal branch of the posterior division of mandibular, which is again a sensory branch. Now if you see this, here it is running vertically downwards below the lower border of the lateral pterygoid muscle. So the sensory branch, it supplies the mucous membrane of anterior two-third of the tongue, except the valid papillae. Now let us see the course. Here you can see the lingual nerve. So let us see the course and relations. So here the lingual nerve, it lies in front of inferior alveolar nerve. This is the inferior alveolar nerve and this is the lingual nerve. So here alone they have shown the lingual nerve. So if you see in this diagram, it is running in between the tensor velae palatine and the lateral pterygoid muscle. Then at an acute angle, it is joined by the chordae tympani nerve exactly about 2 centimeter below the foramen ovale. It is joined from the posterior aspect by a chordae tympani nerve, which is a branch of facial nerve. Now, after emerging it at the lower border of the lateral pterygoid, it runs downwards and forwards between the ramus of the mandible and the medial pterygoid. Now here in this diagram, if you see near the third molar tooth, it comes in contact with the bone directly. So here it is just covered by the mucous membrane, and 1 centimeter below the third molar tooth, it is palpable. Then what happens? It crosses the styloglossus muscle to reach the oral cavity. Now see here, it crosses the styloglossus muscle running on the superior surface of mylohyoid. I'll show it in the diagram. This, so here it is crossing the styloglossus. Here mylohyoid is not shown. Then it reaches the surface of the hyoglossus muscle. This is the hyoglossus muscle, and here it is crossing the submandibular duct. If you see the relation, initially it is related laterally, then below, then it passes to the medial side, reaching the genioglossus muscle. Then when it reaches the tongue, it divides into the terminal branches. It is connected to the submandibular ganglion. I'll show you animated video. Don't worry about the course. So this again you will be studying, this course again you will be studying in the submandibular region. The same diagram here. The same one. So here in this mylohyoid is not shown. So it is crossing the styloglossus muscle and it reaches the lateral surface of the hyoglossus muscle. Then it reaches the genioglossus. As I said, you see the relations related to the submandibular duct. Initially it is above, lateral, below and medial, where When it reaches the tongue, divides into the terminal branches. Now let us see the distribution of this. It carries the general sensation to the anterior two-third of the tongue, floor of the mouth, and the mandibular gum. So it also contains the secretomotor fibers to the submandibular and sublingual salivary duct glands. Now let us see the last branch, that is inferior alveolar nerve, which is also called as inferior dental nerve. So this is the inferior alveolar nerve. So it is the largest division of it is the largest branch of posterior division of the mandibular nerve. It is a mixed nerve which contains motor and sensory fibers. So it receives all the motor fibers from the trigeminal nerve. Let us see the course of it. Now it is running vertically downwards from the lower border of the lateral pterygoid muscle. It is running behind the lingual nerve. So now it runs in between the medial pterygoid and the ramus of the mandible. And see this diagram. It is lying on the medial pterygoid muscle. Then it is passing in between the sphenomandibular ligament and the ramus of the mandible. Then it enters the mandibular foramen. Then it traverses the mandibular canal, and when it reaches the mental foramen, it divides into terminal branches, that is into mental and incisive branch. Let us see the branches. Nerve to mylohyoid. If you carefully see this diagram, just before the inferior alveolar nerve is entering into the mandibular foramen, before its entry only, you can see the nerve to mylohyoid. So this nerve to mylohyoid, it runs downwards and forwards, crossing the sphenomandibular ligament. It pierces the sphenomandibular ligament along with the mylohyoid artery, runs in the mylohyoid groove. Then it ends by supplying the anterior belly of the digastric and mylohyoid. So it is the motor branch. Rest of the branches are sensory. Then it gives the dental branches. These dental branches, they form the inferior dental plexus, which supplies the molar and premolar tooth and the adjoining gum. Then it gives the incisive branches, which supplies the canine and incisor teeth and the adjoining gum. And the mental nerve, which comes out through the mental foramina to supply the skin of the chin and the lower lip. Coming to the upright anatomy, inferior alveolar nerve block or mandibular nerve block. So this is the commonly used procedures in the dentistry. So here the anesthetic agent is injected slightly superior to the entry of inferior alveolar nerve into the mandibular foramen. While performing, you should be very careful. If you inject the needle posteriorly, you are going to enter into the parotid gland. As a result, the facial nerve will be damaged, leading to the transient facial palsy. The other one is lingual nerve injury. I told you before, the lingual nerve near the third molar tooth, it is in direct contact with the bone, that is mandible. There it is just covered by the mucous membrane. So while surgical removal of the third molar tooth, So you should be very careful because there are chances that the nerve may be damaged. Even during the removal of the submandibular salivary gland, we have seen the relations of the lingual nerve winding around the submandibular duct. So while removing it surgically, you should be very careful while removing the submandibular duct because the lingual nerve will be damaged. The other one is referred pain. You have seen this referred pain, that word is coming frequently. So the referred pain from one branch, it can be radiated to other branches and their distribution. So let us see if the patient is suffering from the tongue cancer. So the pain radiates to the ear and to the area of distribution of auriculotemporal nerve also. And the pain, it is relieved by dividing the lingual nerve just below and behind the last molar tooth. Similarly, the pain from the tooth, it is also referred to ear and temporal region. And there is one more condition called mandibular nerve neuralgia. So it is nothing but the pain distribution along the pain along with the distribution of the mandibular nerve. So it is treated by the division of sensory nerve. Then the motor part of the mandibular nerve, it is tested by asking the patient to clench the teeth. And here you can see the trigeminal nerve, its mandibular division coming out through the foramen ovale. Then this is the main trunk. This is nervus spinosus. Then you can see it is entering into the cranial cavity through foramen spinosum. This is the nerve to medial pterygoid supplying tensor velae palatine, tensor tympani, and to the medial pterygoid. And you can see this is the anterior division having the mesenteric nerve, deep temporal nerve, nerve to lateral pterygoid, and buccal. And you can see the posterior division, auriculotemporal, which supplies the temple, auricle, and the TM joint. Then you can see the lingual nerve, which supplies the mucous membrane of anterior two-third of the tongue. This is the last one, that is inferior alveolar nerve. So it gives nerve to mylohyoid, which supplies the anterior belly of the digastric and mylohyoid. This is the commonly asked question in the viva, remember that. And you can see this inferior alveolar nerve, which is dividing into two terminal branches, incisive branch and the mental branch. So that is about the flow chart of the mandibular nerve distribution. Let us see the last topic of today, that is otic ganglion. And look into this diagram. Here you can see the three divisions of the mandibular nerve, they are somehow connected to a ganglion. So here you can see the ophthalmic division, which is connected to the ciliary ganglion. You can see the maxillary, which is connected to pterygopalatine ganglion. Here you can see the mandibular, which is connected to the otic ganglion. So today we will see about the otic ganglion. So what is this otic ganglion? It is nothing but it is a small peripheral parasympathetic ganglion which is located in the infratemporal fossa. If you see the shape of it, it is small oval shape, that is pinhead sized, and it is roughly about 2 to 3 mm in size. Location, it is just located below the foramen ovale in the infratemporal fossa. Topographically, it is related to mandibular nerve, but functionally, it is connected to glossopharyngeal. And see the relations of this. So above, if you see, it is related to the foramen ovale, and medially it is related to tensor velae palatine. Laterally, it is related to the trunk of the mandibular nerve. In front, it is related to medial pterygoid muscle. Behind, you can see the middle meningeal artery. If you see the connections of this one, so this is a beautiful diagram. It is connected to parasympathetic and sympathetic. So let us trace these parasympathetic fibers. So these parasympathetic fibers, they are secretomotor fibers. Now let us trace them. So these preganglionic fibers, they arise from the inferior salivatory nucleus in the medulla. They pass through the glossopharyngeal nerve, its tympanic branch, which forms the tympanic plexus. From that, you can see the lesser petrosal nerve, which is going to the otic ganglion. So here it is relaying. So all these are preganglionic fibers. So after the relay, the postganglionic fibers, they are passing through the auriculotemporal nerve and they reach the parotid gland. If you see the sympathetic, so the preganglionic fibers, they arise from the T1 segment of the spinal cord. They pass through the cervical sympathetic chain. They relay in the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion. From there, the postganglionic fibers, they form plexus around the middle meningeal artery. From here, these, they pass through the otic ganglia without any relay. Then they are reaching the parotid gland via the auriculotemporal nerve. So those are the connections. Now let us see the branches. So the branches, as we saw, the parasympathetic fibers, they convey the secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland via the auriculotemporal nerve, whereas the sympathetic fibers, which are postganglionic fibers, they pass through the ganglion, that is without any relay coming from the middle meningeal artery, plexus around the middle meningeal artery. They pass through the auriculotemporal nerve and they supply the parotid gland, which are vasomotor in nature. And there is one more branch, nerve-to-medial pterygoid, which doesn't relay in the ganglion. It supplies the medial pterygoid, not only to that but also to the tensor velae palatine and tensor tympani. So coming to the applied anatomy, the injury to the auriculotemporal nerve manifest in the loss of the saliva. So thank you. At the end, in this PPT, the video has not been played. Below I'll be sending you 3 videos. You just to go through them. Those are animated videos which will be very easy to understand. You can follow them very nicely, so you will get the concept of otic ganglion, lingual nerve and inferior alveolar nerve. Thank you. Have a nice day.